Good morning. Well, this is another one of my time travel stories, which I do like writing. And this one's called The Appearance of the Woman. Well, here we go. This one's set in the 1960s. And the story follows a woman called Donna Lawson, a woman who discovers a mysterious, injured stranger named Anna at a London station. Anna appears to be a time traveller from 1897 because she's dressed in Victorian attire and possessing physical traits such as internal damage from long-term corset wearing that defy modern explanation. In actual fact, there's a lot more going on than that. As Donna cares for the displaced woman, she navigates a crumbling relationship with her unreliable boyfriend, Mark, while developing a new romance with a local vicar named Sylvester. The story explores the friction between Victorian values and the swinging 60s, particularly as Donna's friends struggle to believe Anna's impossible origins. Following Anna's sudden disappearance, a miraculous inscription on an old gravestone confirms her identity, leaving a lasting impact on Donna's life and future family. Now, I have to say, the AI voices did a wonderful job on this one, to the extent that they surprised me, and I really enjoyed listening to them. To the extent that when they finished, it made me want to go and read the book. So how silly is that? And that's all I've got to say about this. The Appearance of the Woman. Again, written somewhere around about written somewhere around about 2015, something like that. I must have had a thing about time traveling round about that time. I think there is one more to go in a couple of books' time. Can't remember what that title is, but it's coming up soon in the next couple of titles, I think. In fact, there's about 3 or 4 titles to go before we get to the next entire series of books. But anyway, The Appearance of the Woman. Again, it's one of my favorites. Enjoy.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are opening up a file that is honestly going to mess with your head a little bit.
Oh, definitely.
We usually like to categorize things neatly here. We do history, we do true crime, we do the occasional mystery.
Yeah.
But this story sits right at the intersection of, I don't know, a ghost story, a forensic investigation, and a psychological thriller.
It really does. It defies every box you try to put it in, because usually when you hear about time slips or people appearing out of thin air, it's all very vague.
Right. It's a feeling, a weird vibe someone got.
Anecdotes, exactly.
Yeah.
But this case, we are looking at medical reports. We are looking at toxicology screens. We are looking at, birth certificates from the 19th century that match up with people who are walking around in 1963.
It's physical. It's tangible evidence for something that sounds completely impossible. So let's set the stage for everyone listening. We are diving into a narrative account centered on a woman named Donna Lawson. The year is 1963. The location is East London Bow, specifically. And in the span of just a few months, Donna's relatively quiet, structured life completely shatters.
It really does.
It starts with a horrific tragedy, a car accident she witnesses, and it spirals into her finding a woman who looks exactly like the victim of that accident, only this new woman claims to have just stepped out of the year 1897.
And that is the central tension we are going to unpack today. The mission isn't just to tell a spooky campfire story. We need to look at the collision of these two eras, 1963 and 1897.
A real culture clash.
A huge one. And we need to analyze the forensic evidence of time travel versus the theory of deep psychosis. And perhaps most importantly, we need to explore the social cages placed on women in both centuries. Because in a way, both of our main characters are trapped.
That's a great point. So let's jump right into the context. Section 1, the inciting trauma. We have to understand Donna Lawson before we can understand what happens to her.
We really do. Her baseline is so important.
She's 35 years old. She's single. And she's living in her childhood home on Roman Road.
Right, and we have to look at this through the lens of 1963. Today, being 35 and single is, well, it's normal.
Yeah, nobody would bat an eye.
No. But in 1963, working-class London, you are a spinster. It's a label. And the sources paint a picture of a woman whose life is just defined by duty. She is checking boxes for everyone else.
She's had a rough run, hasn't she?
It's been heavy. Her father passed away recently in 1961, and her mother, Gertrude, is still alive, but she's suffering from severe vascular dementia. She's living in a care home called Dewhurst's.
So Donna's in that really difficult position of being a caretaker for a parent who doesn't even recognize her anymore.
That is such a specific kind of loneliness. You're visiting someone every day, but you're essentially alone in the room.
And the source material really highlights her isolation. She has these 3 childhood friends, Roberta, Hazel, and Betty.
And they are all moving on, getting married, having kids, the whole 9 yards for that era. And Donna feels like she's on the outside looking in.
And what about her love life? There's a boyfriend, right?
There is a man named Mark. And we will definitely get to him later. He's a whole chapter in himself.
Okay, so a lackluster relationship.
Oh.
Got it. Her life is very small.
Very small. It's defined by duty.
So that's the baseline. March 1963. Donna decides to take a trip out to Leigh-on-Sea to visit her friend Betty. This is supposed to be a nice day out, a break from everything.
Exactly. Leigh-on-Sea is a lovely spot. It's coastal, steep hills, fresh air. Donna is walking to Betty's house. She's wearing her favorite red herringbone coat. It's a completely mundane, normal moment.
Until it isn't.
Until it isn't. The silence is broken by this awful screeching noise.
It's an Austin Healey, a classic sports car. But the brakes have failed.
And this isn't a minor fender bender. The description in the narrative is incredibly graphic. The car mounts the pavement. It loses control completely. There is a woman, identified as Miss Young, walking with her toddler, little Louisa.
Oh, no.
The car crushes them against a brick wall.
God, it's just instant.
The child, Louisa, is killed instantly. But the mother, Miss Young, this is the moment that breaks Donna.
What does she do?
Donna doesn't run away. She runs to the crash. She holds Miss Young's hand. And the source mentions that Miss Young dies while staring directly into Donna's eyes.
That is haunting. It's not just witnessing death, it's connecting with it. You're the last thing they see.
It's a psychological imprint. Donna absorbs that final moment, the terror, the confusion, the plea for help. She is the last person this woman sees, and that just, it sticks with her. It brands itself onto her mind.
And predictably, the aftermath is messy. Donna goes back to London, but she's not okay.
She's really not. In modern terms, we'd call it acute PTSD. She's having nightmares where the mother and child are pleading with her. She can't sleep. She's just reliving it over and over.
So she goes to a doctor.
She goes to her GP, Dr. Brown, and he does what doctors in the 60s often did for hysterical women. He prescribes sedatives.
The famous mother's little helpers.
Exactly, the blue pills. So she's traumatized, she's medicated, and she's just trying to hold it together. And that brings us to July 1963, 4 months later.
Okay.
This is where the story takes a hard left turn into the Twilight Zone.
Right. It's a humid evening. Donna is at Fenchurch Street Station in London. Commuter hour is winding down.
She's walking down the stairs to the underground, and at the bottom of the steps, she sees what she initially thinks is just a pile of rubbish, a heap of colorful fabric.
But it's not rubbish.
No. It's a woman. She's collapsed. She's bleeding from a head wound. And Donna, driven by that instinct to help, maybe trying to redeem herself for not being able to save Miss Young, she rushes over.
Of course.
She kneels down, and the woman opens her eyes.
And Donna freezes. Because she knows those eyes.
It's the resemblance. It is uncanny. The source says it's almost identical. The woman lying on the floor of Fenchurch Street Station looks exactly like the woman who died in the car crash at Leigh-on-Sea.
No way.
Same bone structure, same eyes. It's like seeing a ghost.
But ghosts don't usually wear what this woman is wearing.
That's the second shock. The attire is completely wrong for 1963. She's wearing a tunic, a floor-length skirt that is dragging in the grime of the station, and this massive, elaborate hat. It's like she walked off a film set.
From what era?
Victorian, pure Victoriana. And when she regains consciousness for just a split second, she doesn't ask for a doctor. She doesn't ask for the police.
What does she ask for?
She asks for her mother, and then she passes out again.
So Donna acts. She calls an ambulance. She accompanies this woman to St. Bartholomew's Hospital, Barts.
Mm.
And this is where we move into section 2, the Victorian patient. This is where the story gets its hooks in me, because usually these time travel stories are just about a confused person. But the doctors at Barts find actual physical evidence.
This is the forensic anchor of the whole mystery. The woman is identified as Anna Winchester. And the doctors, well, they treat her as a psychiatric curiosity, but their own medical notes suggest something much, much stranger.
Where do they start?
First, they run a toxicology screen because she's so pale and sickly.
And the results are?
Wild. Just completely off the charts. Anna has incredibly high levels of arsenic, mercury, and lead in her bloodstream.
Whoa! Which in 1963 would usually trigger a murder investigation.
Immediately. Who is poisoning this woman? That's the first question.
But that's not what's happening here.
Not at all, because when Anna wakes up and is lucid, she explains it as if it's the most normal thing in the world. She tells them she is a milliner, a hat maker.
A hat maker?
And if you know anything about Victorian hat making, you know it was a toxic profession.
Right, the Mad Hatter thing with mercury?
Exactly. But it's more than that. She specifically mentions using Scheele's green.
What is that?
It's a dye based on copper arsenite. Basically arsenic. In the late 19th century, they used it to dye fabrics, these incredibly vivid green colors. It was beautiful, and it was deadly.
So she's been handling poison for years.
Daily. She talks about using arsenic daily to kill rats, to kill flies in the workshop, even using it cosmetically to make her skin paler. She mentions mercury for curing the felt. She has absorbed so much poison over her lifetime that she has built up a tolerance.
A tolerance for arsenic?
A tolerance. If you or I had that much arsenic in our system, we'd be dead. She's just faint.
That is such a specific detail. I mean, a modern person faking this wouldn't have the biological tolerance.
You can't fake that, and it gets even weirder when they look at her skeleton.
The x-rays.
The x-rays. This is the smoking gun for me. The doctors find that her lower 6 ribs are permanently bent inward. Bent. Deformed.
Wow.
They measure her waist without a corset, just her natural body, and it is 16 inches.
16 inches?
Wow.
I can't even picture that. I mean, visualize a ruler and add 4 inches. That is a human waist.
It's the result of aggressive, long-term tight lacing. And I don't mean wearing a corset for a costume party on the weekend.
Yeah, this is years of abuse.
This is skeletal deformation caused by wearing a restrictive corset every single day since adolescence. The doctors note that her internal organs, her liver, her stomach, have been compressed and shifted to accommodate the ribs.
And in 1963, nobody was doing this.
Nobody. The practice had died out 50 years prior. You can't fake a 16-inch waist and bent ribs overnight. It takes a lifetime.
What else did they find?
Her teeth. Terrible condition. She has fillings, but the doctors describe them as being done by an amateur.
So not a modern dentist?
No, it's consistent with late 19th century dentistry, barber surgeons, mercury amalgams. And she has an old break in her arm bone that healed poorly, again suggesting medical care that predates modern orthopedics.
So her body is literally a map of the 19th century.
It is.
But she also has stuff with her. What's in the bag?
The everyday carry of a Victorian woman, a pocket Bible, well worn, a Victorian comb, a pocket watch, and money. She has coins and stamps.
Okay, but you can find old coins in 1963.
You can, but these were in mint condition. Sharp edges, no wear and tear. It's like they were just minted. And none of them were dated later than 1897.
Wow. And there was a ticket, right?
The big one. A return railway ticket to Leigh-on-Sea, dated 1897.
Okay, let's pause on that. A ticket to Leigh-on-Sea, the exact same town where Donna saw the accident.
The exact same town. That connects the two events physically. It can't be a coincidence.
It implies that Anna was heading to the same location where her doppelganger died.
That's the implication, and Anna explains it. She says she and her mother were going to the coast for fresh air because Anna had been feeling ill, which was probably the arsenic poisoning.
And she's specific about the date.
Very specific. She believes it is March 2nd, 1897. She says she was born in 1859. She even notes that she shares a birthday November 24th with the publication of Darwin's Origin of Species.
That's a very intellectual detail for someone who is supposedly just delusional.
It is. She's not just confused. She has a completely consistent internal timeline. But the hospital, they don't buy the time travel theory.
Of course not. They're men of science in the 1960s.
Exactly. They see a woman who is delusional, and maybe she's a very convincing method actor, I don't know. They treat the arsenic poisoning with chelation therapy, basically scrubbing her blood, and they sedate her heavily.
But Bart's is a busy hospital.
They need the bed. They view her as a psychiatric curiosity, not a danger to herself or others. So they decide to discharge her.
And this is where Donna steps up. Most people would walk away. They'd call social services and be done with it.
But Donna can't. It's the guilt. It's the face. She couldn't save the woman in the red coat at Leon C. She feels compelled to save this woman who looks just like her.
So she agrees to take her home.
She brings Anna Winchester, the Victorian patient, back to her little house in Bow.
This brings us to Section 3, Anna in the modern world. And this is where the fish out of water trope gets very real and very scary.
Oh, it's complete sensory overload. Imagine being pulled from a world of horse-drawn carriages and gas lamps and dropped into 1963 London.
The noise alone must have been terrifying.
The ride home is terrifying for Anna. Donna drives a Morris Minor. It's not a fast car by our standards, but to Anna, it's a rocket ship. She clutches the seat, squeezes her eyes shut, and just prays the entire time. She describes the speed and the traffic as a fast-paced hell.
And it doesn't get better inside the house.
Not at all. The domestic space is filled with things we take for granted. The electric kettle baffles her.
How so?
She sees Donna flick a switch and water boils. No fire, no stove. It's magic to her. The electric fire, the belling heater. She calls electricity a wonder, but she's deeply afraid of it. She thinks it's dangerous.
But the thing that really breaks her is the radio.
The radio is a major conflict. When Donna's friend Roberta turns it on, Anna doesn't hear music or news. She hears a disembodied voice.
Right, from her perspective.
To a pious Victorian mind, a voice without a body isn't technology, it's spiritism. It's demonic. She calls it depravity. She screams that it will singe the soul. She's genuinely terrified that there are ghosts in the box.
Wow, and then there's the fashion. Donna is a modern woman for her time. She wears slacks.
And Anna is scandalized, absolutely beside herself. She looks at Donna wearing trousers and she bursts into tears. To her, a woman wearing pants is a sign of the total collapse of moral order. She can't even look at her. It represents a world that has lost its way.
But they have to make it work. The doctor warned Donna that Anna couldn't keep wearing that corset right. Her liver was shot.
Yes, of course, it had to go. So they have to find a compromise. They dig out some of Donna's mother's old clothes from the 1940s.
A middle ground.
Exactly. Skirts, modest blouses. It's a bridge. 1940s fashion is close enough to 1897 to be acceptable to Anna, but modern enough that she can walk down the street in 1963 without causing a scene.
So Anna settles in. She's heavily medicated on Valium to keep her from screaming at the radio, and she starts doing embroidery.
She's incredibly talented at it. It's another small piece of evidence, really. Her needlework is of a professional standard that most 1960s women just wouldn't possess. It keeps her calm.
But while Anna's adapting to this strange new world, we have to talk about the toxic element already in the house.
We do. Section 4. The toxic reality of 1963. And that reality is named Mark Walker.
Mark. We mentioned him earlier, but we really need to unpack this guy.
Mark is complex, but not in a good way. He's Donna's boyfriend of 5 years. He's 37. He lives with his mother.
Red flag number 1.
A big one. And he has a prosthetic leg from a V-1 rocket attack during the war.
Which gives him a permanent get-out-of-jail-free card for his behavior.
Exactly. He plays on the injury constantly. He snaps his fingers for tea. He expects to be waited on hand and foot. He's a mother's boy who treats Donna like a servant. But the source material reveals a much, much darker layer to Mark.
The double life.
The double life. Mark presents himself as a standard, if lazy, working-class man, but the notes are explicit. He is a sexual psychopath and a master manipulator.
That's a heavy accusation. What's he doing?
He disappears for long stretches. He frequents the darker corners of London King's Cross, Phoenix Road. He's seeking out transvestites, referred to in the text as girls like Sam or Bob Smith.
To be clear, the issue isn't his preferences. It's the deception. He's living a lie.
It's pure deception and exploitation. He's using Donna. He needs her for the domestic safety net, the food, the warm house, the veneer of respectability, while he engages in this sordid, exploitative life elsewhere. He's effectively keeping Donna in a cage of his own making.
And then he meets Anna. You would think a sheltered Victorian spinster would be terrified of a loud, drunk, modern man.
You would think. But this is where Anna shines. This is her hero moment.
What happens?
Mark stumbles into the house one night, drunk. He's demanding food. He sees Anna and probably thinks she's just some crazy relative Donna's taken in. But Anna looks at him, and with that Victorian bluntness, that lack of a modern filter, she just dissects him.
She calls him out.
Instantly. She calls him a wastrel.
A wastrel. You don't hear that word much anymore.
No, but it's perfect. She says he is no gentleman. She turns to Donna and says, idleness breeds evil. She sees right through the facade. She spots the weakness, the lack of moral fiber in a second.
And Mark proves her right immediately.
He does. He vomits on the carpet. The source notes he nearly hits Old Mousy, the cat. It's just disgusting.
But the contrast is what matters.
It's everything. Donna has been making excuses for this guy for 5 years. Oh, it's his it's the war. Anna takes one look and says, this man is trash.
It's so ironic, isn't it? The woman who was supposedly mad sees the reality of the relationship more clearly than the sane woman does.
And it creates a shift in Donna. It's like a light bulb goes on. For the first time, she sees Mark through Anna's eyes. She sees the toxicity. Anna might be afraid of the radio, but she's not afraid of a bully.
So Donna is dealing with this domestic revelation, but she still has the nagging question. Is Anna telling the truth? Is any of this real?
Of course, that's the billion-dollar question.
Which brings us to section 5, the investigation. Donna decides to do some detective work.
She has to know. She's living with this person, this walking paradox. So Anna claims she lived at a place called St. Marriott Hill above her father's shop.
So Donna goes there.
She gets in the Morris Minor and drives there. And guess what? The building is still there. It survived the Blitz.
And she goes into the local church. This is where she meets Sylvester.
Sylvester Roundtree, the vicar. And we have to mention him because he is the anti-Mark.
In every way.
In every single way. He's young, handsome, kind, intelligent. There is an immediate spark. The source says Donna practically swoons. She starts thinking about what their children would look like the moment she meets him.
Which just shows how starved for genuine affection she really is. But Sylvester is helpful. He opens up the parish records.
Yes, and this is the smoking gun. This is the moment that changes everything for Donna. They start flipping through these dusty, ancient ledgers from the 1890s, and they find it. A record for Ralph Winchester, Anna's father.
And what does it say?
It says he died in 1894, and the place of death, Bethlehem Royal Hospital.
Bedlam. The notorious asylum.
Bedlam. This matches Anna's story perfectly. She had told Donna her father died in an asylum, which is why she was so terrified of hospitals and institutions. It's such a specific, verifiable detail that she couldn't have just guessed.
So Donna digs deeper, right?
He's on a mission now. She goes to Somerset House, the government archives. She pulls the birth certificates, and there they are. She finds Ralph Winchester. She finds his wife, Alice Winchester, and she finds Anna Winchester, born November 24th, 1859.
It's all real.
Oh.
So Anna Winchester was a real person. She existed. She lived at that address. Her father died in Bedlam.
The paper trail is undeniable. But playing devil's advocate for a second, finding a record doesn't prove the woman in Donna's kitchen is that person.
Right. It could be someone who researched this family obsessively and assumed the identity. A very elaborate hoax.
That's the rational explanation. But then you have to look at the reaction. Donna goes home. She has the official death certificate of Anna's father in her hand. She shows it to Anna.
And what does Anna do?
And Anna doesn't act surprised. She doesn't get defensive or angry. She faints. She collapses physically from the shock of grief.
Oh.
The source argues that the reaction was too raw, too immediate to be acting. She is mourning a father she believes she saw just a few weeks ago. Even though this piece of paper says he died nearly 70 years ago, the grief is real.
That grief is the bridge. That's what convinces Donna. And that brings us to section 6, the mother figure.
This is really the emotional heart of the story. Donna sees this profound grief in Anna, and she connects it to her own situation, so she decides to do something risky. She decides to take Anna to visit her mother, Gertrude, at Dewhurst's home.
Which is a huge risk. Anna is terrified of asylums because of what happened to her dad in Bedlam. She thinks they're dungeons.
She expects chains and straw on the floor, but Dewhurst is a modern 1960s care home. It's clean, it's bright, the staff are kind. Anna is surprised by the humanity of it. But when they get there, the tragedy hits in a different way.
Because Donna is visiting a mother who is physically there but mentally gone.
Completely gone. Gertrude has severe dementia. She doesn't know who Donna is. Donna is holding her mother's hand, trying to bridge that impossible gap. And Anna is sitting there watching this, and she's missing her own mother, Alice, who she has lost to time.
They are both grieving mothers who are unreachable, one to dementia, one to history.
Exactly. It's a perfect tragic parallel. And they bond over their childlessness, too.
How so?
Anna mentions that her fiancé back in 1897, a man named Edward, probably wouldn't want children. And Donna realizes Mark has never even brought the subject up in 5 years. They are both women who, in the eyes of their respective societies, have failed the primary duty of womanhood motherhood.
It's a moment of profound female solidarity. Two women, separated by a century of culture, finding comfort in the fact that they are both adrift.
And it changes Donna. Seeing Anna, who has lost everything yet still holds on to her dignity and her faith, makes Donna realize just how much she has compromised in her own life, especially with Mark.
So we have the forensic evidence, we have the paper trail, we have this deep emotional connection. Where do we leave this story? The outro.
The narrative leaves us in a fascinating state of flux. The mystery isn't resolved with a neat bow. We don't have a time machine blueprint or a confession of a hoax.
So Anna's still there.
Anna's still living in Donna's house. She's heavily medicated. She's wearing 1940s clothes, but she is lucid. She knows who she is. She knows where she believes she's from.
And Donna, what's her trajectory?
Donna is waking up. She's beginning to see Mark for the monster he is. That scene where Mark vomits on the carpet, that was the turning point. She's got the image of the handsome vicar, Sylvester, in her mind now. She realizes there are other options. She doesn't have to settle.
But the central question remains, is Anna a time traveler?
The evidence leans that way. I mean, the bent ribs, the arsenic tolerance, the mint condition coins, these are physical objects and biological facts that defy the madness theory.
You can't hallucinate heavy metal poisoning.
You really can't. But then there's that lingering theory about the crash victim, Miss Young.
The woman in the red coat, she looked exactly like Anna.
Exactly. The theory, and it's just a theory, is that perhaps we are looking at a time loop or a paradox. Did Anna eventually travel to Leigh-on-Sea in 1963? Did she become Miss Young?
If that's true, then Donna saving Anna at the station might be her trying to rewrite history, or maybe fulfill it somehow.
It's the grandfather paradox, isn't it? If Anna is Miss Young and she dies in March, how is she here in July? Unless the timeline split. Unless Donna's act of kindness created a new path.
It makes your head spin. But I think the most powerful takeaway here isn't about physics or time travel. It's about the mirror.
Absolutely. The mission of this deep dive was to look at the constraints on women. Anna was physically constrained by corsets and by the laws of her time. Donna was constrained by social expectations and a toxic man.
She was just as trapped.
In some ways more so, because it took a visitor from the Victorian era to show the modern woman that her liberated life was actually a cage.
Anna might have been the one in the corset, but Donna was the one who couldn't breathe.
That's it. That's the line. Anna had a spine of steel. She knew right from wrong. She knew Mark was evil. Donna needed to borrow that Victorian backbone to save herself.
So we leave them in the kitchen. The future is unwritten. Mark is gone. Sylvester is waiting in the wings. And Anna is safe. For now.
It's a reminder that sometimes the past comes back not to haunt us, but to help us.
I love that. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the truly bizarre mystery of Donna Lawson and the Victorian patient. It's a story that makes you look twice at the person sitting opposite you on the tube. Check their shoes. Check if they're afraid of the radio.
And maybe check if they're carrying any mint condition coins from 1897.
Exactly. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you on the next deep dive.